just yet, but I'm still going to go ahead and throw it to him live. Take it away whenever you're ready, Tempest Mask.
No problem. Luckily, you just got me at that very moment, so I was just about ready, thankfully. I just needed to make sure that my controls were remapped, because the thing about trying to get this game to work is that, admittedly, I am not using, right now, that Legacy Collection, but it is still a means to play the game anyway, and you are correct. MegaMan 6 is available on the MegaMan Legacy Collection, which is available on Xbox, so this kind of does count, now wouldn't it? But with that said, welcome to the final Mega Man game of the NES days. It's probably one that I definitely seem to appreciate quite a bit. It's also a little bit different from most classic Mega Man games, as I'll try to explain all by my lonesome here, which is perfectly fine. I've definitely run this game for at least a year now, and while I might not be the best of the best, I certainly know a thing or two, so we'll see how it all goes. Of course, there might be a few deaths here and whatnot, so I've got my trusty engineer here ready for those big moments right there, so without further ado, let's get this thing started. So I will just get that timer. We'll just get that timer going. There we go. All right, cool. All right, let's begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock on. All right, so here we have the any percent route, and I'm gonna do wind first because it's one of the easiest things to pick up. So there are a few different robot masters that you can choose first as compared to Windman, but it's usually, but again, it's like one of the fastest ones to pick up. So yeah, there's also Flame first, and I do believe Nightman first. But the benefit about getting to do Windman is that his course is probably one of the simpler ones. It does have a few tricks and traps. Well, not traps, but it does have quite a few enemies that can get annoying. Just like that fellow right there. This is oh man, those air cannons always like to bless my runs there. Okay, let's try this. So here we have, I do believe we call this Improv Room, but that was a good first cannon. Second one down, there we go. Perfect, you'll love to see it. So that was a particularly placed charge shot. Oh, but unfortunately I got touched to the spike ceiling up there. Very unfortunate right there, and I'll have to start again. Luckily this time I can make this hopefully a little bit smoother though. So we'll see how this time goes, and I'll start by charging up. Now, like Mega Man 5, the charge shot will get interrupted if Mega Man does take some damage. The only game that didn't seem to do that at the time was Mega Man 4. So, a little word for the wise that using the charge shot and trying not to get it interrupted can prove to be a bit important. So let's try this again. Ooh, just missed a bit. The problem with these guys is that while knockback might not be so egregious in this game, those cannons can still knock you into the pit at the wrong time. If you're just as, if they have the chance, is what I'm trying to say here. Words can be hard sometimes, but anyway, here comes some platforms that flip whenever Mega stands on them. You just gotta jump like so. And just slide under this guy right here. I'll go ahead and get the safety life and health. I don't usually do that nowadays, but given the unfortunate start right there, I just figured it might seem like it may have seemed like a good idea. Anyway, we got some those panda robots right there. Let's talk a little bit about those guys. So what they like to do is they shoot either this arcing shot at you, or they just fire a straightforward pellet from the mouth. They can be a bit annoying because there are also some that try to like shoot you out of the sky and stuff, just like this one, but luckily I can get past him just like so by keeping to the lower parts of the fans in that final section, and coming up is Windman. So Windman, let's see here. Windman likes to do a couple of things. He can either fire a couple of propellers at you, or he likes to draw you in with his shoulder fans, and he'll also try to float around like he's doing, which is perfectly fine. I want to at least try and hit him with as many charge shots as I can. he's not the worst when you get to know how he fights and stuff. It's not like you can manipulate him per se, but it's just one of the simpler things regardless. That was a pretty good fight though, no deaths, thank goodness. Not much trouble there, and therefore we get our first weapon, the Windstorm. Alright. So the Windstorm is a projectile that, as you'll be seeing here, basically shoots out from the buster and then travels on the floor. But whenever it hits an enemy, what it likes to do is it sort of lifts them up and has them go out of the ceiling whenever you defeat an enemy with that weapon. Alright. So here's Flame Man's level, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the first routes that you can do in this game is by starting with him. But the interesting thing about Wind First is that we do already have his weakness, so this can make the fight go a little bit faster, therefore. But the oil on the stage will turn into an instant kill fire pit if any fire attack touches it, so that's a little something to be careful with. And even if you do die, the oil pit will still remain as a raging fire when you get back to that section. Now these enemies, I don't know their exact names, but we, the community, like to call them Roland, because Roland is a scumbag, and what he likes to do is sometimes shoot Mega Man out of the air, and sometimes, in some levels, into pits. Roland is a bit of a bully, in other words, and we do not like it when he snipes us from performing our epic jumps. But alas, Roland did not get me there. We'll be seeing him a little later on, though, or at least one enemy is especially called Roland. I like to call all of them Roland because it's an easy little thing. But big shout out to Papat for that one. Papat1 is the current world record holder to Mega Man 6 any percent. Nice. Ooh, that was close. Alright. Oh, ooh, that was close. Ay, ay, ay. So, iframes, they still come in handy whenever you find yourself in the midst of an instant death trap, and thank goodness for that case. But here comes Flame Man. Oh, man. So I'm just going to switch to the Windstorm. Flame Man's going to fire these fire waves at me. Otherwise, there are those fire shots he just used right there. Now, you did see me pick up an E-Tank earlier in the stage, and I will use it whenever necessary. I usually like to go for those safeties because you never know what this game could throw at you, and therefore, since I'm not the best of players, I do tend to take a little more damage than I'm sure most runners would want to. Therefore, picking up the E-Tanks is a usual standard for a Tempest Mega Man 6 run, in short. But yes, so we got the Flame Blast and the Rush Power Adapter, and this is where Rush comes into play in this game. Instead of the usual Rush Coil and Rush Jet, we instead get Power Adapters, which introduces the idea of Rush turning into armor and can attach to Mega Man, giving him a couple of abilities. That one in particular gives him a punching attack instead of the traditional Buster, and that can be useful to break some blocks with cracks on them, as you'll see a little bit here with some ice blocks. Otherwise, it can also push back enemies or bosses. It can be pretty handy, but it comes at the cost of being able to slide. And, I mean, it also looks kind of silly on Mega Man. You'll see what I mean soon enough, but anyway, we'll just go past these shield defenders. I'll equip the fire weapon to melt those right there and get another E-Tank, and I will continue to use it from here. Alright, come on, there we go. So, and nice dodge too. So, the thing about sliding in Mega Man 6 is that, unlike in Mega Man 5 or pretty much any other Mega Man game that had the slide feature, 6 works where when you press the jump button in the middle of a slide, it has Mega Man standing up again. And so that's how the slide canceling works in this game. Instead of having him jump out of it, he just stands back up. Not sure why that's the case, but it could be for one reason or another in terms of the game's development. After all, Mega Man X did already come out at this time, and perhaps they used a brand new engine as compared to the Mega Man 5 one. All I know is that whenever I want to get out of a slide, I'm going to jump instead of you-know-what. So I'm looking a little low at health, and I don't want to waste my E-Tank just yet. Therefore, I am going to take a safety death. But I am also looking pretty low on the fire weapon ammo, and I think I used a bit too much on those robotic squids. Usually you would damage boost and stuff, but I guess I wanted to give it a different try or whatnot. But Blizzard Man here, let's see if he just decides, there we go. And I'm just going to let him take me out there. So, Blizzard Man likes to roll around, and it would be very nice if he did as little of those as possible. Otherwise, we do have his weakness. Technically, we do have all of the Robot Master weaknesses as we go along. That's how the routing basically works in this game anyway, so thank goodness for that. But yeah, so right there is why we don't want him to roll, because even if you do try to hit him while doing so, he's completely invulnerable, and that's no good. Alright, so I could have had one more shot to finish it off, but instead you'll get to see the power armor right now. Mega Man is looking a bit bulky in the arms. He did not skip arm day whatsoever like this, and that was basically a showing of what the charge shot can do. Like I said, with bosses, it can push them back. It's pretty useful because the charge shot also requires a fairly short amount of time to power up and stuff, but it is also very short range. So I will only use the power adapter whenever I have to. Is the long and short of it. Anyway, we're moving on to Plant Man, and this is usually the stage that I have the most trouble with in terms of the early game. But luckily after this, we'll have beaten 4 Robot Masters, so the game... I mean, it's not like the game gets a bit easier, but what I mean to say is after we've defeated Plant Man, we'll be getting our second of the Rush adapters in the Jet armor. And this essentially counts as the substitute for Rush Jet, if you will. You'll see what it does soon, but for now, let's just get past this big guy. He likes to float up and then crush Mega Man. I would have been able to do that room a little bit faster, but yeah, no, something just went a little differently there. The idea is that you try to climb up the ladder while he's already gone to the other side and try to get it fast enough before he comes down. Otherwise, he can potentially get you off that ladder by coming on swinging and stuff like that. Anyway, that was Eddie right there. He's the helpful little robot that has been a part of the franchise for a few games now, and I did accept whatever item he gave me, which was an extra life, which is pretty nice. So, thank goodness for extra lives. Again, this is another one of those little safety things I usually tend to do, but if I'm feeling a bit more confident, I will skip it. Most runners usually do. After all, the idea is to use your ammo and health conservation as best as you can. Otherwise, there are damage boosts in this game, of course. So, you know how it is. Luckily, because we do not need Flame Man's weapon as the weakness for Plant Man, I will use it. Actually, no, I forgot about these platforms, so I'll just switch back to Mega Buster. Here we have these opening platforms that require Mega Buster shot to do so, but you can jump on them while they're closed. There's a particular hitbox that requires you to, like, I think it's a particular positioning or whatnot that you have to just keep jumping and whatnot and hope that you can keep it going. But I just do it the casual way because I haven't quite figured that out yet. Anyway, here we go. Jump here. Those fish are the worst thing about Plant Man's stage, in my honest opinion. They've been the cause of a lot of very slow times on this level, as well as a lot of lost lives and potential game overs too. Let's just get past here, and we're through. Alright, so coming up is Plant Man, and he likes to use his plant barrier to keep him safe from my blizzard attack. But no problem, I'll just do whatever I can, because there can be some moments where I could get the projectile inside the shield. It all depends on what he's doing. I don't recall the full logic, but let's see how fair he plays. I have, however, figured out the time of his invulnerable frames to get those 2 blizzard shots in at a time like you just saw me do twice. So that was a pretty dang clean fight. And we'll now get the plant barrier. And with that, we also get the Rush Jet Adapter, which will be our means to fly. Unfortunately, we cannot slide in that armor either, so it does become a little speed limiting, but it will help in certain occasions, like being able to get to higher areas, which you'll see what I mean exactly. Maybe... oh no, yeah, definitely here, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, jeez, my memory's going a little hazy, though. But here's Tomahawk Man stage, and as we're going past these cowboy robots, I think I'll go ahead and quickly mention the plot to those who don't know. So after Mega Man 5, there's a first annual robot tournament going on, and all these different robot masters from different parts of the world are participating. The competition is held by one Mr. X, but suddenly the robots start to go berserk, and Mr. X turns out to be the one behind it. He reveals that he apparently was pulling Dr. Wily's strings this whole time, and it's up to Mega Man and Rush to put an end to Mr. X's scheme to try and take over the world. Seems like a very mysterious fellow, though, if you ask me. Anyway, we go through Tomahawk Man stage, which is technically taking place in America, so because of the whole world tournament format, this does play into how each of the different Robot Master stages are a different part of the world. I do believe that India was Flame Man's theme. It has been a while since I've remembered each of the locations as well, but it definitely shows with the backgrounds and all the details put into the levels when you can see them. Like how there was the amazing 8-bit sunset and all that stuff, so that looked very beautiful. And yeah, we're gonna see it once again with a very pink sky as we go across this last section of the level and jump into Tomahawk Man's boss room. Now, it's within the bottom half of the Robot Masters and this guy too that there are alternate paths to reach the boss chamber. Some can be long, some can be very short, but the big difference being, depending on which boss room you enter, will determine whether or not at the end of the fight you get a letter for Beat. And once you get all 4 Beat letters, you get Beat the Robotic Bird, a fellow ally to Mega Man that was introduced in the 5th game, created by Dr. Cossack. And while Beat was pretty helpful in the 5th game, maybe not so much in this one. Conster, one of my friends and runners of this game, often tends to say useless bird, and that can potentially be the case, sadly speaking, but I very much respect Beat. Thing is, though, we don't need him in any percent, so we will not be getting all of the letters, and I'll just be only getting maybe 1 letter at best. But coming up is Yamato Man, and using the Silver Tomahawk, we will be able to take care of him fairly shortly, but the Silver Tomahawk is going to definitely come into play within the late game, as you will see later on. And as per usual, with whenever I do get to this level, I am going to take the bottom path, which most people take the top, but I personally like doing this one, if only because there's a special mid-boss that I get, or extra boss that I get to show off, and also it gives me a couple of extra pickups along the way, like this health one right here, and then as we'll be seeing in just a bit, there's also another E-Tank that I can grab, and that should put me in a pretty good position from there on. Alright, boss down, shoutouts to the frog, and we now get to switch to the POW armor to get that E-Tank. And then I think I'll just go back to normal because we do need to keep sliding. I was considering whether or not to choose the Flame Man weapon, but coming up is the first section where I can put the new Rush Jet Adapter to use, like so. So, The idea is that Mega Man basically now has a jetpack, and the ammo bar serves as how long you can fly for. It's not a super long time, but it certainly can help with some vertical speed and all that good jazz. So I'm just going to take a damage boost here, go to this next room, get up here, take down these springy enemies right there, and we'll get into the boss door to confront Yamato Man himself. So Yamato Man likes to shoot out his spear tip and then retrieve it, otherwise he sometimes jumps into the air and shoots 3 just like that. He's a pretty simple boss in terms of his moveset though. The fact that he tries to go after the spear tip makes him very easy to hit, and that's why it's one of the more comfortable boss fights in my opinion. So now that he's gone, we get to take that spear tip and use it as our own projectile weapon as we move on to our second to last boss in Nightman. And because I took the top route for Yamato Man's boss room, we do get the beat E part. So let's get an E in the chat if we could. And coming up is Nightman. So one of the interesting things about this level is that if you do beat Nightman and choose to revisit it, the color palette completely changes. So we like to refer to that as Orange Nightman whenever revisiting it. And I do believe this is also something that happens when you revisit the Beat Letter Robot Master Stages 2. Yes, I did say E, and egad. Why did I jump into that spike?
Nope.
Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, I'll pick up a safety life. Alright. I'm just gonna adjust my earbud here. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna re-equip Flame Man's weapon. And try to get past here. Come on. Ah, shoot, that was close. Okay, let's not slide here, because if I do slide into the room transition, then I'm surely gonna fall into the pit. And that's never fun. Alright. Oops. I thought you were Eddie. Why did I do that? Ah, shoot, that was dumb. Alright, let's change back to Jet. We'll fly up here. One nice thing I can do with Rush Jet is, well, I'm gonna show it again. I can press jump and hold it to fly off the ladder and then get back up, but I am gonna need to cling back to the ladder afterwards, so yeah. Let's unchange, take care of these guys. I do not know their names, but I simply think of them by the sounds they make whenever they shoot out the shots. And let's get up. I gotta fix that earbud again. I think I got an extra life from that, or an E-tank, I'm not sure, because I wasn't quite able to see the sprite before I picked it up, but thank you, Eddie. Oh shoot. So that's called the Mad Nerd, and whenever I think of that enemy, I think of Papatot, because that is his profile icon. And the Mad Nerd is a very particular enemy in that shooting it once will cause its graduation hat to get destroyed, which then also causes it to lose its glasses and then become very angry at you like that one did right there. Alright. Okay, yeah. I totally forgot which weapon I needed to use for that moment. What a day. I'm just gonna fix this earbud as the boss introduces himself. And Nightman, we want to see him, I guess, not jump, because he can jump around and it's not the worst thing. But trying to keep him on the ground allows me to hit him a lot better. Luckily, he's not giving me the super huge jump, so that was a pretty fair fight, all things considered. Thank you, Nightman. And yeah, the Yamato Spear is just a alternative projectile weapon, as I like to call them, where all you're really just doing is like firing a straightforward projectile that may or may not do a little bit more than the Mega Buster. But here we have the Night Crusher, and I will give the Yamato Spear the fact that it does have quite a bit of ammo, so that does make it helpful. But now we move on to Centaur Man, our final robot master of the 8. And for this particular level, I will do a quick little ditty with a shout out to Mr. Cap55. Centaur Man, Centaur Man, Centaur Man, Centaur Man. So this little Greek city right here, I do believe this is a sort of Atlantis-inspired Greek city or something of that sort. The idea is that we have the obligatory water level and water physics afoot throughout the entire stage design. As such, I gotta be careful not to hit the spikes. I will use jet in certain areas like this one, just to give myself a little bit more control. And we'll lower down here. Alright, nice. I'll just disengage for now. We got some more fish coming up. These guys go down very easy, but they can definitely get in the way. Alright. Just jump over here. I'll re-equip Jet because I wasn't able to get a damage boost that I would use to cross those spikes. But that's no problem. I'll go ahead and pick up that health refill because it was looking a bit low. The thing about Roland here is that you can only defeat him using a charge shot from the Mega Buster or the POW suit, which also definitely works. Now, whenever Roland does not touch, say, the oil slick pool like he did in Flame Man, anything else causes him to explode, but you did see him turn into that interesting looking platform that helped us traverse the fire and stuff, so it's a very unique enemy, I'll give him that, and I wouldn't be against seeing him return for a possible MegaMan 12 if we ever get that from Capcom. For now, though, let's go past this squid with a damage boost. I'll flip back to Rush Jet one more time. And we'll go across this gap. Now, you can fall down and... oh, well, I guess we'll fall down anyway.
Nope.
So, obviously, if you use Jet to get across to that boss door and fight Centaur Man that way, it will get you the T beat letter, but... we will now fight this fella, and this guy is very unique in that he does not jump whatsoever. He will try to flash the screen, though, and pause time to then use his spreading shot. Otherwise, he can warp as follows, and he chooses to freeze us. Not fun. Let's hope he doesn't do it again. This might be bad. Thankfully, it didn't kill me, though. Oh, whew, that was close. Whoa, that was very close. Holy heck. Alright. So now it is I who says...
nope.
To Centaur Man. And with all 8 Robot Masters defeated, we can now tackle Mr. X's fortress. Also, hey Ashma, good to see you. And we get the Centaur Flash. So this is our essential screen nuke weapon, which will come in handy for the boss refight. And I can use it for X4, but otherwise I might not use it until the boss rush. But it can be pretty handy. It can be pretty handy indeed. Alright, so X1. Now it's at this point that, like with the Dr. Wily stages of games prior, the idea is that when you use your weapon ammo in these levels, the current tank remaining by the end of this stage will carry over to the next one, and so forth. Therefore, I'm going to want to be careful with how much I use these weapons and may have to go for some refills wherever need be. There we go. So that was our first use of some mandatory jet to propel ourselves to the other side. And here comes a POW door, which I'm just going to try and jump over these and avoid. Yeah, there we go. So there's a bit of a safer way to do that. I think I did the trickier one, but it also wasn't the faster way to do so either. I'm just going to keep the POW suit. Oh, that was close. I almost bonked myself into the spikes. That would have been terrible. Normally you would try to slide across here, but I'll just keep the POW suit for what it's worth. Of course, the screen is slowing down a bit because, like with most NES games, there can only be so many sprites on there before things start to take a slight hit. This is just typical with games prior and stuff like that. And with that said, here we come with the first X-Boss, the Rounder robots. So, these guys, they have a particular hitbox. I have to hit them in the side, and their weakness is Flame Man's weapon. They're giving me some bad patterns here, though, so I'm going to refill with the first E-Tank usage. Or is this my second one? Chad, if you kept count, then feel free to correct me on that one, but that wasn't too bad. I did get a couple of jukes there. No problem, though. Alright, I'm just going to hydrate one more time. Alright, let's finish this run. So we got quite a number of stages, meaning we're not quite close to the end yet, even after we go to X4. Just a little spoiler alert right there, but you'll see why that is. We still got quite a bit of game left here, so let's try and get there as fast as we can. Alright, I'm gonna need to use Jet once again. Oh, that was so close. I could have easily run out of Jet at like one second early, and it would have surely had me plummet down to the spikes. So those little graded areas, those little yellow areas with the diagonal lining, those are not platforms. Those signify that the floor there is absolutely 100% fiction, and therefore I'm trying to fly over those. You can technically jump normally, I just think flying is a bit safer as it is, so... We're getting closer to the boss door, and the third Met turned around. How dare he? It's okay, I was totally being slow. Now I'm going to once again use another E-Tank here, because I did enter this chamber with very low health, but I will be using the Silver Tomahawk, which will arc its way up to the Power Piston. So now we're just going to play a fairly easy game of arc that Tomahawk, do a little bit of robotic axe throwing to pummel this thing into dust, and there you go. And that's right, that floor was not even lava in that level. But hey, Mr. X probably could have made the floor lava if he wanted to. He sure seems like a rich man. Alright, X3 time. So I just got that extra life. Probably didn't have to, but... yeah, we actually have 9 lives now. So I totally wasted time for nothing. Feel free to, rate my performance accordingly, folks. But, nah, anyway, let's just move on. So I will be using Jet mostly because we got some, it's basically like seesaw platforms, if you will, but they more operate where I'm standing on one platform and it goes down while the other one goes up. We got some more robots from Flame Man here. Ooh, whoa, that was close. That one almost pushed me into the abyss. Nevertheless, moving on. We got some Windman cannon enemies reappearing here, so I'll just bust them down. We'll keep climbing up. And then very shortly I will return to Jet form to cross over this precarious platforming section. We got more roll-ins coming up here, as you just saw there, and all that jazz. Hey chat, you like jazz? Nah, jazz is totally cool. Alright. So that roll-in right there sometimes likes to snipe you if you're very close to him, and that's never fun. But thankfully that didn't happen, so none of that today. Blizzard attack. So coming up here is Matongr Z, and it's just a mech piloting a giant mecha. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like the arms to move and try to punch you, it really is just for the aesthetic there. Still a cool looking boss, but the main idea is that this thing likes to move in closer to you and then shoots these energy projectiles like so. Oh, probably shouldn't have done that. I accidentally canceled the screen projectile, but let's see here. One more shot. And it goes boom. So what I could have done there was used a POW suit. However, sometimes the POW suit, while very effective, can be a bit hard because there is technically a solid platform on the body, but also a hurt box as well. So it can get a little dangerous. But now we're moving on to X4, and we will be confronting Mr. X himself. But first, to recover all of that Blizzard attack ammo that we mostly lost, or, sorry, most of the ammo that was lost, I will get that weapon refill before going up and trying to be speedy. Oop, that did not work, so I'll just damage boost right there. What I was trying to go for was, I was trying to position myself as right as possible from that cannon to then just avoid it. So now we'll be switching to the Night Crusher. And I will be trying to eliminate the enemies accordingly. So I'll just be giving myself some serious time here to also give my voice a quick break. And I do apologize that my commentary has been a bit subpar today. It's not usually I guess it's just been one of those days where I did have a little bit of fun with some friends earlier today, and I guess that did tire down my voice a bit. But hey, I'm absolutely hoping that you all are enjoying the run, because it's always nice to show off some cool games like this. There we go. Alright. So now I'm going to keep using Jet, otherwise I would try to use the Night Crusher and clear out these cowboy shooters again. Or, sorry, not again. It's not like I did that before, but basically we got more returning enemies from earlier stages. Which, you know, is usually a thing that tends to happen in the late game. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that E-Tank. So, I can easily say at this point of the game that due to having 9 lives, we are in no danger of game overs, but I will try to avoid dying a lot because, you know, time loss. But anyway, coming up is Mr. X. I will be, ooh, that... Interesting. Yeah, I think it is mentioned that for some reason, whenever you pause in this chamber, it does take a little bit longer, or something like that. I'll have to consult the facts again. But yeah. So here's Mr. X. We're gonna just keep punching him like so, and this is his little wrecking ball friendo of a robot. But he goes boom, and now everybody get ready for one of my favorite typos. My scheme for world domination has failed-y! We always love typing in failed in the chat whenever that moment comes up, but oh no! It turns out Mr. X was Dr. Wily this whole time! Who would have guessed? Well, it's time to let this final battle begin, because as you all know, there are some other Mega Man games that come after 6, but at the time, this technically was the final battle, and you'll see why. For now, though, we have now entered the final 4 stages of the game. We are entering Dr. Wily's castle this time, and we start off with a section that I'll just be hovering around and stuff, because if I can use my jetpack effectively, I can reach a very decent area that can give me some nice recovery items and stuff like that, which can be pretty helpful. Otherwise, if I do miss it, that's no problem. I'll just have to take the other path. Whoa! That might not be good. That's probably not going to help me make it. Ooh, unfortunate. Okay. So, I will have to skip that, but hey, no worries. I'll just try and get that. Nice. Okay, cool. Just one more here, and that should help us move on down to there. And yeah, I guess you could say that normally when you fight Wily, it's usually the final battle of the games, but in this case, well, there's a reason why it was considered the final battle. I don't know if it was initially planned for Mega Man 7 to happen, but I think it was quite a surprise to many nonetheless. Mega Man 7 is a pretty good game though, so I will grant it that. Besides, it is one of the it is a one of a kind in terms of its art style and stuff. Alright, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a safety death to this fella as well. But that is the Mechasaurus. I like to call him the Brachiozord because he looks like that very Zord from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And the funny part is that that series did not happen for like many years later. Like, this game came out way before that, and yet when I look at the two, they look very similar. So I wonder if this is this could be one of the biggest coincidences ever, in my opinion. But anyway, this guy is pretty tough because, as you can see, I am using Yamato Spear, his weakness. But the problem is the hitbox, the eyes, is very particular, and it can be pretty easy to miss the boss. But thankfully, we got him. And now we'll move on to Wily number 2. Very flashy lightning always seems to accompany that castle. Grammar is still difficult right now. Alright, get up here. So, welcome to the one and only Yoku Blocks section of the game. For some reason, they've really minimized the use of Yoku Blocks in here, and I do believe Mega Man 5 as well. This is the only time you see it, in this section, and I do believe the room above. But we get to skip that because using Flame Man's weapon, I had melted some ice, and got ourselves to this faster section right here. Oof. Alright. Let's try not to get hit too many more times. And, yeah, let's quickly refill the Flame Man weapon really fast. I'll also grab something here. Let's do Blizzard. And there is a health pickup, so I'll get that too because I am out of E-tanks. I just gotta wait for the mad nerds there. There you go. And now we move on to the tank boss. It's a tank C something or whatever. I forget the specifics, but it is a very easy boss to take care of, and for this I'll also be using Windman's weapon. Here we go. Yeah, it's just a tank that goes from right to left, really. Not much else it does there except shoot cannonballs. Although I guess it looks like bubbles when you assume that the black background of that room makes the shot look transparent. But really, I think it's more of a cannonball. Nevertheless, very easy boss to take care of. And now we move on to Wily 3, and it's obligatory. Say it with me, y'all. Boss rush time. Because, as per usual, what's a Mega Man game without its boss rush? So, first off, we got a water section with these fans that I don't believe have appeared in any other stage, so interestingly enough, that's an enemy that kind of debuts in a late game stage, interestingly enough. Now that I think about it anyway. But this is obviously a good time to pick up as many of the refills as you can if you need them, because again, your weapon ammo carries over from one fortress stage to the next. Oop. Okay, there we go. Sheesh. Alright, let's get past these cannons. And coming up is a teleporter that will take us to the boss refight chamber. And now here come the boss refights, so let's see who I get to take down first. Survey says Flame Man. So as per usual, we're just going to use the Windstorm and try and dodge as many attacks as we can. Of course, with the boss rush standard, whenever you defeat a boss, you get some health that you can pick up, so the boss will drop it when they explode. Not a bad start. Let's check out the bottom right corner. And here comes Tomahawk Man. So a very interesting thing about the fight that I didn't get to explain is that the plant barrier's ammo is very exact to how much damage Tomahawk Man takes upon getting contact with this weapon. So the thing is, if I miss even once, then that means I'm not going to have enough ammo to take him down entirely using that weakness. Now I'm going to use Centaur Flash to take care of Windman here, so quick screen flash warning. And he's down, so screen flash warning done. Alright, Centaur Man is next. Gotta use the Night Crusher, and let's hope that he doesn't freeze time. Of course, he starts with a warp, so that's already a good sign, and I really don't mean that. Sarcasm is sarcasm. One time freeze. That should be enough for me to take him down, though. And then I thought I was gonna jinx myself, but thankfully that was not the case. Alright, Nightman. Let's get that Yamato spear back. Oop, I thought he was gonna jump. Oops. Alright, coolio. Let's keep it going. And now for Plant Man. Gonna need Blizzard attack for that one. And thankfully with that refill from earlier, that should help give us enough to take down this plant fella and put him on ice. Oh shoot. I did unfortunately have the straightforward shot deflect from the plant barrier though, and it is not going to be enough ammo, so let's just switch back to the POW suit and punch, 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 punch! There we go. He's down. Imagine taking care of a plant by using your fists. Oh wait, that's weeding. Alright, Yamato Man, Silver Tomahawk time. But I want to be careful with that because missed shots will therefore sort of work against me in the final fight, because this does indeed happen to be Wily's weakness, so I will try to pick up a weapon refill on the final stage before the big fight. That was pretty good though, and this does leave us with one final Robot Master in Blizzard Man. By process of elimination, I think you all know what that means. Burn to the ground, baby! That's one roll. Ah, missed. 2 rolls. 3 rolls from the bakery today. That'll be $9, sir. And with that, we move on to Wily number 4. This is the final level. It is also a very short one. The idea here is that we got another Met dispenser, just like in Tomahawk Man, before the Wily chamber comes up, and Then I will try to engage in the 3-phase boss fight. Time will be on the final hit of that final phase, though. Let's see if I get it. Awesome. So now we have as much Silver Tomahawk as we could possibly need for the fight. It's not completely full, but it should be enough. If that's not the case, though, a good backup is the Night Crusher. Here we go. Let's see what you got, Eddie. 1 extra life? Hey, why not? Yeah, Eddie decides to give you 1 last item as a little means of good luck. But, of course, since we're already at the life maximum, that's not going to do us much good here. Or... oh, wait, no, we weren't, were we? I don't know, I don't remember. But here's my favorite final boss theme of the classic Mega Man games. At least, definitely one of them. That's Phase 1. Here comes Phase 2. Sour Please. Alright, Phase 3, time will be on this final hit. So, here comes the Wily Capsule. Ah, that was a miss. Shoot. Alright, not a good position. There we go. Alright, I did waste a few shots on that one. Not cool, but... oh! Wow, he's being very aggressive tonight. What the heck is this? Oh, 1 more hit should do it. Time! Let's go! Wily's down and surrenders once again. And this is why this was considered the final battle of the time, because here we actually arrest him. And just like that, Dr. Wily is behind the slammer, at least until Mega Man 7. Sorry about that one, guys. Looks like we have to deal with this fella quite a number more times, but at least we've saved the day for now, and we've done what we had not done in 5 games prior to now. Or even the Wily Wars or the Game Boy games. Regardless, we're done here. And before I sign off, I would like to give a big shout out to the Mega Man Classic community. As well as the fact that there has been a Mega Man 6 Any% tournament going on through Speed Gaming. Special thanks to them for hosting it. And big shout out to all those competing. I'm not necessarily sure if we've finished the tournament just yet, but we've definitely been blazing through the bracket. And some of the VODs should be available on Speed Gaming's YouTube channel pretty soon, if not already. So if you want to catch them, you all know what to do. Otherwise, if you want to join our community, the Discord link can be found in the Mega Man RTA Leaderboards website, where there is a page that you can find all the different Discords of the Mega Man communities there. Otherwise, I do believe there is a Reddit for the Mega Man RTA Leaderboards as well. So, really, there are really the well, I want to say the sky's the limit, but that doesn't sound right. But hey, maybe the sky limits. Wait, no, that's Gyro Man. That's Mega Man 5. I'm just gonna stop trying to make puns here and give myself my voice a break, because whew boy, that's 2 runs in 1 sitting. But thank you so much, Emerald, for having me back at Fleet Fest. This was definitely fun to show off these 2 cool games, and I hope you all enjoyed. Keep supporting the keep supporting our donation goal, our charity, whatever you can. As a pet owner myself, I can definitely say that it is important to get your dogs spayed and neutered, so that you can avoid some pretty embarrassing moments with them. But of course, don't forget to show your pets lots and lots of love, because gosh dang it, they deserve it. With that said, though, my name is TempestMask1000. Thank you for having me, and until we meet again, I sign off as always. Ciao, amici.